Hey everybody out there, welcome back for another one of my movie reviews, and today I'm going to be reviewing Blade Trinity. So when I make one of these videos, what I tend to do before I actually film my review is go on and look at what other people are saying about the movie. And so that way I kind of have an idea if I'm agreeing with people or if I'm not, or if they mention something that I wouldn't think to mention in my review, then I can kind of take that idea and rework it. So as I was doing this to kind of compare notes to see what other people were thinking about the movie, I found it kind of hard to find a review video or what said it was a review video of the movie that was actually a review video. A lot of people seem to want to spend most of their video talking about supposed drama that went on behind the scenes and during the production of the movie, and watching all those videos of person after person after person spending most of their video talking about this stuff that they were just parroting, I decided what I wasn't going to do was talk about any of that stuff, and I was just going to talk about the movie. So here we go. The movie opens up with Ryan Reynolds giving you a short history on Dracula, basically telling us everything that we thought we knew about Dracula was wrong. Then we are taken to a scene where a group of vampires are walking into an ancient temple that seems to be the resting place of Dracula. And this scene right here is what brings me to my first problem with the movie, and that is that they seem to wake up Dracula fairly easy. Now, I know that we're supposed to believe that this is a hidden tomb that they've been looking for a really long time. Even they don't really show us them discovering the tomb. They just walk into what looks like a very easy, accessible tomb. So, and almost immediately after they walk in there, Dracula attacks them. And somehow they subdue him and bring him back to their headquarters. But nobody else throughout the thousands of years that he's been hibernating has wandered into that tomb and woken him up. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did, and he woke up, ate him, and then went back to sleep. But it just bothered me while I was watching the movie just the other day. I'm like, wait, nobody else ever wandered into this tomb? And now he's like their lapdog? But at the same time, kind of the new big bad leader. The movie just didn't feel like it knew what it wanted Dracula or Drake to be. Either, the lapdog or the guy that's in charge of everything going on. But the whole reason they went and woke up Dracula is because they believe that he can help them become daywalkers like Blade and like he himself is. Oh yeah, and if he could possibly deal with Blade himself and kill Blade so they wouldn't have to worry about Blade, that would be great as well. The first time we get to see Blade in the movie, he is hunting down a group of vampires just like he was in the first movie and second movie. But as he's chasing these vampires down and killing them off one by one, something unexpected happens. He kills one who doesn't turn to ash. He reveals to Blade that he's not a vampire at all. He's just one of the human wannabes, and it's a setup to get Blade on film killing a supposedly innocent human, so that the vampires, by way of the police, can now come after Blade, because of course he's going to be wanted for murder. Which brings me to the next thing that bugged me about the movie. We cut away to a talk show on cable TV that's kind of like a Good Morning America thing, and they are talking about what? Vampires and Blade, because apparently a whole lot of people now know who Blade is and his beliefs in vampires, even though in the other movies we know he kind of worked in the shadows and in the comic books, and he wasn't all out in the public eye like this movie makes him out to be. But whatever, he's out there now and everybody knows about his belief in vampires and thinks he's nuts. I'm just going to try to move past it and let it go and enjoy the rest of the movie. We then get a very short scene of Whistler talking to Blade about the fact that he's getting careless and killing humans is a problem because that's going to draw the attention of law enforcement. And then what happens? Law enforcement breaks into Blade and Whistler's hideout. Then we cut away to Jessica Biel's character, who is fighting some vampires in a subway. I'm guessing they're supposed to be in New York City. They're no longer in Moscow. And surprisingly, even though I don't think a lot of people did a very good job in this movie, This is one of the better scenes in the movie. Jessica Biel's fight scene with the vampires in the subway. And her character turns out to be Abigail Whistler, who is Whistler's daughter, who was born out of wedlock. And when she got older, she somehow tracked Whistler down. And while he never told Blade about her, he had no problem telling her about Blade and vampires. That just seems kind of strange to me that he would never tell Blade about this daughter that he found out that he had. Like, he even tells Blade in the movie he's like a son to him. So why wouldn't he tell Blade, hey, I thought my entire family was dead. It turns out I've got this daughter that I never knew about, and she wants to help us out. And hey, I've been worried about you working alone anyways, so this will work out perfect. You know, if something happens to me, you'll have somebody else to fall back on and some kind of support system, and you'll still have a team. But nope, just for some reason, Whistler just decides to never mention this. As I mentioned earlier, Whistler and Blade have been raided by the FBI or police or some law enforcement that is working alongside the vampires, even though they might be working unwittingly alongside the vampires, even though that kind of makes no sense, because if you watch the first Blade, Whistler very clearly says, you know, they own the police, meaning the vampires own the police, so then why would the vampires later have to sneak around and manipulate the police? It just doesn't make any sense. But during this whole event, Whistler sacrifices himself to save Blade by blowing up their hideout, or so we think. And Blade is so upset over Whistler's sacrifice that he's just easily subdued by the police and arrested, where we then see him in an interview with the creepy psychologist guy who should want to talk about other things but decides to talk about vampires, and then reveal that he is one of the human sympathizers for the vampires. And then we get the Nightstalkers, which is Jessica Biel and Ryan Reynolds as Hannibal King, rescuing Blade. And I personally think that Ryan Reynolds is probably the best thing in the movie. I definitely feel like he was given the most important lines in the movie, because anytime any kind of backstory needs explained, it's Ryan Reynolds through his character Hannibal King telling us, you know, what we need to know. Which might have pissed Wesley Snipes off a little, because he seems to barely talk at all throughout the whole movie. Now let's talk about the character Dracula, or Drake as they call him in the movie. This felt like a colossal waste of what could have been an awesome supervillain. I thought the actor that they picked was a really good choice, but the material he was given to work with was obviously crap. Also, I thought the way Dracula looked in his vampire form was freaking stupid. Rather than a big Hollywood production movie, it came off looking something like you'd expect out of Joss Whedon in Buffy or Angel or something. It just looked terrible. And again, the fact that the movie didn't seem to know if they wanted him to be the new boss in charge or the lapdog to the other vampires was quite annoying. And the fact that the couple of times that he did face Blade, except for the end, or I guess it was really only one time, he is running away from Blade. You are the very first vampire, the most powerful of all the vampires, but for some reason you're running away from Blade. I guess you could say he was running away so they wouldn't get his blood and they wouldn't be able to make their weapon that would destroy all the vampires, but I'm not really sure that Dracula knew that that's what they were after him for. I guess you could say that he's running away from Blade so Blade's not able to get a sample of his blood so they can make their weapon to destroy all the vampires, but I'm not really sure at that point in the movie that Dracula knows that they're after him for that reason. He just knows that they're trying to get him, but why wouldn't he? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll just go ahead and talk about the next character that I hate in the movie, and I actually can't even remember his name, but I can remember who plays him, and that's Triple H. He plays the dumbest vampire in the Blade series ever. He's just dumb and pointless, big dumb and pointless to the movie. There was some information that was put out before the movie came out that he was supposed to be this new badass vampire. He was actually a daywalker like Blade, and for some reason he had these silver fangs in his mouth. That's not even touched on in the movie. I mean, you do see the fangs, but the fact that he's a daywalker is not even touched on in the movie. And why the silver fangs? Because we know from the first movie, if they lose a body part, it just grows back. So wouldn't the fangs just grow back? And you're putting silver fangs in your mouth and you're a vampire? Just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Dracula does wind up breaking into the Nightstalkers' hideout and killing pretty much everyone, but he kidnaps the little girl and Ryan Reynolds, leaving just Blade and Abigail to go and rescue them. And what's amazing is, before Dracula killed everybody, the girl that was working on the serum that was going to kill Dracula and the rest of the vampires had enough time to finish the serum or virus that she had just started working on that day. So now Blade has what he needs to go after Dracula and to end this vampire problem. Blade does battle Dracula, and we get to see Dracula transform one more time into this terrible looking vampire type creature right before Blade sticks him with the serum, turning him human and effectively killing all the vampires, or supposedly killing all the vampires. That's when the FBI breaks in. They see Blade passed out on the ground. They take his body and they start experimenting on it. This is where things get really weird. We get Blade waking up on this operating table in a secret location, and it looks like he kills and feeds off everybody. And then it just gets weirder from there, because we get Ryan Reynolds trying to narrate what just happened, and the ending is very confusing. You're probably going to have to look it up to understand what just happened. I know I did. So here it is. According to the internet, what actually happened at the end of that fight is Dracula shape-shifted into Blade, and he is the one who is taken by the FBI and wakes up and kills everybody and then goes into hiding. Blade is in a coma and wakes up sometime later and is now looking for Dracula. Sounds like they wanted to set it up for a fourth movie, but it wasn't explained well at all, and I'm not really sure how we're supposed to understand all of that when they don't show us any of that, or even have Ryan Reynolds badly narrate that part. It's not mentioned at all. And then the movie just freaking ends. That's it. They were that confident that they were going to get another movie. They just didn't feel like they needed to explain any of that to us. And because of that, I'm going to give it a rating, a 3 out of 10. Just because it's not the best movie, it's not the worst, but it definitely doesn't deserve over a 5-star rating. And that's it for my review, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Leave your thoughts and comments below, and I will see you all later. Bye.